Good morning, YouTube. Welcome in. Today we got a beautiful build for you. Today we're building in the Fractal Nano. We built on this probably a few months here on the channel, but it's been quite some time. Today we're building an all whiteout system. It's sleek. It's got a little bit of RGB coming from those front RGB fans on the Nano, but everything else is sleek white. The rest of the case. We've got some beautiful Team Create, the new Team Create DDR5 in white. It's kind of got a little bit of a gold sleek to it. We've got this all going on the Z790 Edge, mini RTX board from MSI as well. And then we got the AK620 coming from Deepcool cooling this, which is one of the best CPU coolers on the market. If you're going to be just running pretty much stock frequencies, this is one of the best air coolers if you're going to be running like a 13.6, 13.4, 12.700K, even a 12.900K can be cooled on this as well. Anything over the 13.6 though, you might want to look at some of the Deepcool LTs or LT520s, things like that. But for today, we have the AK620. Got it paired beautifully with the 4070 coming in from Gigabyte and the AERO OC. And it's looking beautiful in this Fractal design Torrent case. Let us know down below in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. If you want to catch us live, unedited raw like it is right now, come over to our Twitch channel any Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we hope to see you soon. All right, guys, I'm gonna get over to the build station and get started on today's beautiful build. I'm gonna get mic'd up. I'll see you guys over there in just a second. Let's go top down and get started on today's beautiful build. Today's build is just gonna be about an hour. Just about an hour. It's not a, I would say a strenuous build by any means. It's just a really cool looking build, something a little different. Go top down. All right, guys, get this beautiful board out. Today's board, the MSI Z790 Edge I. There it is, the beautiful. Look at that little thing. So today's CPU is going to be the 13600K. All right, take a look at the socket, make sure everything's looking good. No bent pins, good to see. I believe the system, I'll get the pricing on the system here in a second. It's going for a pretty fair price from what I believe, I remember. I think I have it here, let me see. It's going about 2K. Next, we're gonna move on to the NVMe drive, which today we have is the 990 Pro. They have 64 gigs of DDR5. They just did the 48 gigs. The 48 gigs is a really good price point, honestly. And you get some good speeds, and it is pretty stable for the most point. 64 gigs at high speed is not stable yet. So you have those differences, those variations are now. But our 990 is down and in. Next is gonna be our RAM chat. Today we have, actually before we get the RAM, we get their standoffs in place for the cooler. We'll not need our AMD, so I'm gonna go aside. We will need our our Intel. Might have missed it, but what are the objectives of this build today? Aesthetics, performance. It's a mixture of aesthetics, performance, and size. Something a little different on the channel as well. And we built a lot of higher end, bigger case systems. This is gonna be something that's available for actually to purchase at the end of the day. It's gonna be on our website as well. So just a really cool little system. All right. Next we have our RAM. What's going on today? We have the brand new Team Create. We haven't seen it on the channel yet before. It's the new Team Create RAM. It's really focused on being like clean, subtle, but also really performing. It performs really well. The timings are 64C32, which is also a really good timing set for anything to DDR5 on Intel. Kind of the sweet spot right now, honestly, price performance, and the RAM looks just absolutely stunning. This white and sleek gold. But there it is, that T Create, super small, look how small this is in here. We're talking about the standoffs for the cooler and fitting in there. Look how, yo, Harry. That's some, they have it in black. You're like, does it come in black?
No, I'm tired of taking my PC apart right now.
Yeah, he swapped cases like 10 times, chat, in the last like 2 months. All right, next let's work on our case, chat. Now we have everything completed here on the Z790 Edge Wi-Fi, Edge I Wi-Fi. 13600K, the Z790 Edge I Edge Wi-Fi. We have 32 gigs of 6400 megahertz DDR5 CL32 RAM coming in the Team in the T Create. And underneath our primary NVMe slot right here, we have the 990 Pro coming in from Samsung. That's a 1 terabyte drive. Let's slide this aside. Let's get working on that case, chat. Today, again, is the Torrent Nano. I think it's been about 2 or 3 months that we built in this case here on the channel. Last time we did, I do believe, was also a Whiteout. I believe they had either 4070 or 4070 Ti as well, but just a great performance setup. 13.6 with a 4070, 4070 Ti. Really, really good setup. I love how they put like a really nice anti-static foam across everything too. Really good. It's not a super density foam for the styrofoam, but it's just really good stuff. Look at the front close up of this little thing. Look at this thing. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. It's mini. It's mighty. So we're gonna go top down right away and get started on this motherboard. Be a tough one, chat. We have 4 screws today. There we go. All right, all in with that motherboard. Give you a front close-up now. We have the motherboard all installed, chat. Look at this little mini mighty thing. Look at it. All right, so we have 1 fan header there, 2 fan headers up top. Okay, so run this one down and over. These are the fun parts, chat. There we go. It's a fun one. I always love when they're right there next to the PCIe. They're right next to the PCIe slot. That is in. Next would be our RGB. Of course, it's right up top. Very inaccessible spot. Love to see. Next, we have to run our Type-C. The rest of our front panel connections. This is gonna be the fun part. Type-C is in. USB 3 will be next. All right, all in with USB 3. All right, now we start work on managing all these cables. So in this system, we have to run a RGB splitter off the fan. The front fan has a little bit of RGB on the side of the case. Only really RGB we have in the system. Side of the onboard. Let's say the onboard, the integrated on the CPU itself, or on the GPU itself. We're gonna plug in our CPU fan header. There's our splitter, it's gonna run to the fans. Next we have to get is our rear fan. Let me go grab our rear fan really quick for you, chat. All right, put our exhaust fan in. Yeah, especially the front one on this one has great airflow. So in this system, unless you really are doing some serious overclock, you need more airflow inside. The, I was gonna say the amount of airflow you can get off of this front, I think it's like a 200 millimeter front or 180 front. It moves a lot of air in this case. And then you have the exhaust and you have obviously the 2 CPU fans on the air cooler. It does really, really well. All right, so next is going to be our onboard and our HD audio as well. Give you the rear cable management view as I work on this. Also gonna grab my light. If I wanna buy this PC you're building right now, how can I do that? You have to, we'll have it live on the website later today, but they'll be available. Yep. Let me get the cables in that we need right here. Power LED, power switch, and reset. There we go. All right, it's in. How are we looking so far, YouTube? Make sure to hit that like button if you like what you're seeing. All the way up to next is gonna be our power supply. Today we have a 750 watt GF1 Snow coming in from Thermaltake. Going for that beautiful white aesthetic, keeping it clean, keeping it looking nice. We have the white Snow with the white cables coming from Thermaltake. What's great about this build is yes, you can fit a full ATX power supply up top, which is nice. Continuing that white aesthetic, we have the Thermaltake, again in the GF1 Snow 750, plenty of power. Between the 4070 and the 13600K, our max peak pull is probably gonna be right around the 500 mark. That 750 watt, 10-year rated power supply is gonna give you plenty of power, keep it everything it needs. Actually, what I do, chat, is we're gonna use a ATX 3.0 power supply, so someone's got a free upgrade. 750 GF1's great, but we're gonna go with white cables and we have a right angle 12 high power adapter ready to go, so we can use. During chat, I'm just putting on the braided cable the cable extension they have for these 12 volt high power. You gotta be really careful with these sensor cables because they're super finicky. It's the reason we went with with one of the, we're gonna do a right angle in this case. It's really tight, and this right angle adapter is gonna help with the cable. Not to mention it's also a ATX 3.0 ready cable. There we go, all in, looking good. It's our little cable extension for the GPU. All right. So we're going to use the MSI 850 today. You're going to use different cables from different, it's not a different cable from different PSU. It's actually, so the great thing about these right here are, this is a standardized cable now. So the 12 volt high power cable, the 12 volt high power cable is standardized. So yes, you can do that. But other power cables, no. All right, we have the MSI Mag 850G. All right, today we only need CPU 1, 12 volt high power, and then our 24 pin. There we go. Everything else is gonna go back in the bag. Yeah, we only use a 12 volt high power cable. It's the only thing that's standardized. Everything else, yes, it could be different, and you don't want to do that. But since this is just a standard 12 volt high power, we're going 12 volt high power to 12 volt high power. Things in nice and tight. The fun part begins, running all these cables down and over. And there's really good airflow in this case as is. If you were gonna do like I'd say like a higher end overclock or something like that, you can add like two 120s on the bottom to get a little more positive airflow. But I mean, that front fan in this case, when I tell you we've done thermal tests, it's like 1 or 2 degrees difference. CPU temps are very minor. with adding rear fans on the bottom of this. Or sorry, intake fans on the bottom. That front fan's literally blowing air, and the GPU is I'd say the 4070. Doesn't get as hot as some of the other GPUs really in the 40 series range. So it honestly is a really good performance case for what we're putting in here today. Like, when we think about those types of specs and those variables when we're assembling these, like, since this is technically considered like a pre-built or ready to purchase system, we think about those types of things when we're speccing it out. All we have left is the GPU and the cooler. Next is gonna be our cooler. We're gonna get our thermal paste on. Next marks the spot.
On my PC?
First fan, next part is gonna be the fun part, feeding this back through. Feeding these cables through, gonna be fun. The trick, you run this through and you tape the wire to the screwdriver on the other side and you just pull right through, like a fish, like almost like you would like fishing line. Look at that, look at that, whoa! That's the 5-head play right there. Look at that, right there. Little electric tape right around the cable, boom, done. All right, chat, onto the GPU. Looking slick. And I like the cooler in this case too. Looks really, really good. All right, cellophane's all off on that beautiful 4070 going into today's system. There's the AERO like we talked about. That's a big card. And if you're gonna put fans on the bottom here, you probably wanna put slim fans because this is a chunky 4070, but it's also got it's a really good cooler. So the thing is, you really don't need the bottom fans. The only thing the bottom fans are gonna get, it's just the thing you're gonna get from the bottom fans here is more airflow to your GPU. And the only really GPUs that would really need this kind of airflow would be something like if you're really trying to put like a 4090 Foundry Edition in here, which would be ridiculous, or like a 30 series card just do typically run hot because the memory pads are horrible. Whew, this just barely fits, chat. Look at that. Do you see this? There it is. She's all in. Whew, that was tight. It's tight, but man, it is. That's a chunky boy. All right, let's get the back panel on. We're gonna light this bad boy up. You guys ready for this one? This is a beaut. Here we go. What do you guys think? You like that? That's clean. Super clean.
Guys, thanks for coming in and liking another video here on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button, help us with the algorithm. Make sure people find us and see all the beautiful PCs we build. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button as well. Remember, we build these systems live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/stints. Come on over, hang out, chat it up with us, watch us build beautiful PCs for everybody in the community. And remember, let's go.